Alright guys, here we are for another video. Today is going to be my tips and tricks for new or advanced players. So hopefully you will learn something in this video today. The first thing I want to talk about is going to be, number one, the guaranteed Qhick card that spawns 7 minutes inside of a Rupture. So once you enter the Rupture lasts for 10 minutes. After 7 minutes have elapsed, you might have noticed that when there's 3 minutes left, there's pretty much always a Qhick card that spawns. The Qhick cards are those beetles that either are emerald or golden, and they drop a bunch of containers. So there are a few tricks you can do with this. One is for pushing in the very, very high end of the leaderboards. People are going to push by entering a Rupture, pausing the game, waiting for 7 minutes. After 7 minutes have elapsed, you unpause the game, and then you find yourself in front of a Qhick card. The Qhick card goes to you, and you basically never have to fight like mobs of monsters before entering the boss room, because the Qhick card will drop you enough essence to be able to open the boss room. So that is one thing. Or if you are, AFK farming and the Qhick card spawns 7 minutes in, sometimes it's an emerald one. So you might want to, if you're AFK farming, put a timer of 7 minutes and come see if the Qhick card window did not open up for you to choose which reward that you want. So that is one thing. So tip number one, the guaranteed Qhick card mechanic that spawns 7 minutes inside of the Rupture. Number two, we have this hidden mechanic of container spawns. So containers have a chance to spawn on every elite kill that you do, but there's a hidden mechanic in the game that makes it so that the more time that you spend not spawning a container on an elite kill, the better your odds of finding a container on your next elite is. So there is no like hard data on this as to like exactly the numbers of how it works, but I believe it is at the start of the Rupture a 2-minute timer. So if you kill so your first elite is always guaranteed to spawn a container, and then 2 minutes after that kill, you are guaranteed another container because you have spent enough time without getting one that you are guaranteed another one. As time goes by in the Rupture, as you spend more time in the Rupture, that timer diminishes, and like by the end of the Rupture, say for example at 1 minute left in the Rupture, containers are going to spawn on almost every single elite kill, assuming that you kill them with a few seconds in between, because that guaranteed timer is now much lower. So that is a thing in Dwarven realms. That is also why when you kill, let's say 10 elites at once, you will most likely only get one container out of it, because every time that you kill an elite, the timer resets to the base value of the chance to spawn a container. So I hope I explained this properly. This is like a hidden mechanic that not many people know. So there's a hidden mechanic that progressively increases your chance of getting containers on elite kill as you spend time inside the Rupture. Number three, stance bonuses are available on other stances. So all of these bonuses, spear damage, max health. Max health is the one that you're going to want to go for. Max health bonus and energy regen bonus. But like all of these stats, the generic stats, are always available to you. You're not benefiting from the spear damage or like the spear crit damage because you're not using a spear when you are a mage reuser, right? But max health, max health bonus, and energy regen bonus, those are available to you even when you're using other stances. Also, the other things are not available to you are the special powers that you get from the other stances. For example, spears get bloodlust, magery gets phasing, the axe will get the berserker. So these are not available because they are stance specific, but all the generic ones are available. That is why it is recommended to level up all your stances up to 4320 once you can AFK farm Rupture 75s. We'll go over why Rupture 75 later. So that is that was my tip number three. Now tip number four, boss damage works on elites. So since you will be eventually scaling boss damage in multiple different ways, this season phasing gives you boss damage. And then you can get bracers with increased phasing effects per stat that you have, per 50 stat. It's not my bracer currently, but that's a thing. It will scale your boss damage dramatically. Also boss damage on your fossil. You could also get boss damage on your rings per stat. But eventually, white mobs become harder to kill than elites. And so, yeah, so boss damage works on elites. If you did not know, now you do. Number 5, loot filter. There is a loot filter in this game. If you open up your inventory, there is this little icon next to this. You click on it. It has 2 options, all and any. So you select the stats that you want. And if you do any, it will select any item that has one of those stats and highlight them. If you do all, it will need to have all of the stats on one single item to be highlighted. So, that is where you can select which stats that you want to find. I personally go for, right now, I go for Wisdom, I go for Arcane damage bonus, Lightning damage bonus, and I also go for my offhand, which is Star Blades, right? So I take all of these. Any item with these will have the stats that I asked for. So that was number 5, the loot filter. Oh, also in number 5, you can lock your items by mouse clicking middle mouse button. So if you click on it, you can lock items. And when you go to dismantle your items in town or at the crafting station, you know, they won't be dismantled. So if you want to save some items and those items are very precious to you, just lock them up and you will never delete them by mistake. Funny thing is you can also lock empty slots in your inventory. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Anyways, so that was number 5, the loot filter and locking item. Now number 6, you might not want to click attack speed gems early. Attack speed gems can be nice to scale your attack speed and proc your offense faster, but since all of these abilities from your stance, they use a certain amount of energy per time that you consume per use. The more attack speed you have, the more energy regen you will need to be able to like sustain your energy. So keeping a balance of this might be important, especially more in the early game. That's the reason why you might not want to click attack speed gems. That is going to be up to you to decide if you have enough energy regen. Number 7, keeping Elysia Scales for until you get a Zol weapon or a Scorch weapon. That one is not extremely important, but it's good to know. If you want to optimize and min-max your pet, you can keep your Scales of Elysia when you do her and not actually, you know, upgrade your pet every time that you go there, because you can just use all of them in like one single run of Elysia and you use them one after the other. So if, for example, I'm running Star Blades, but let's say that I would find like a Scorch weapon with triple spinning blades, maybe I'd be interested in pivoting to spinning blades. So that means that I would need to find another pet. The pet would need to be Arcane. So that's why I would keep my Scales to upgrade the pet that I find, either one Lightning or Arcane, depending on if I switch my offhand or not. That also is going to be up for you to decide at the end of the day. It's not a huge deal. It's not a huge buff in the end game, but it is something that you can do if you want to min-max. So that was number 7. Number 8, always have keys on you. By keys, I mean these keys. I mean the ancient Runic Keys that unlock rare Dwarven chests. These rare Dwarven chests contain belts. They can also have keys in them if you have the correct node spec'd on your elven tree. They can also have later down the line in higher level ruptures. They also contain purple weapons, purple piece of armor that can have dual monograms on them. Eventually, you reach a high level of rupture that purples in these chests can also have double monograms. So not only Archeon gear can have double monograms on them. You can also find them with these, and they also contain a lot of purple stuff here. Purple legendary glowing stone, the pink stuff. Legendary glowing stones are used to replace monograms on gear that you already have, and they are used also to upgrade your offense. These offense. So this costs a lot, and eventually this is your bottleneck. So yeah, always having keys on you is very good. So that is my tip for you guys at number 8. Number 9, you can stop mobs from spawning. Okay, this one is pretty important. You can stop mobs from spawning if you go next to a wall, next to the edge of the map, and you see the camera zooming in a little bit. So I'll do it right now. You see how the camera zoomed in a little bit? If I go out, it zooms out a little bit again. That means that I am stopping the mobs from spawning. Every time that your camera zooms in like this automatically, that means that the mobs will stop spawning. And if you kill them all, well, there won't be any more mobs that will spawn. You can be creative, use this to your advantage or not. Sometimes it's annoying because when you are AFK farming, if you get pushed by Drythis the Scorpion, for example, then it's very annoying because you know mobs don't spawn and you're AFK, and you just don't get any don't get any mobs from this. But you can also use this at your advantage when you're pushing. If you want to, like, if you have like a certain elite that you want to just kill and you don't want any other mobs spawning again, then you can just go next to a wall and everything stops spawning. Funny enough, there's one map where you can also, there's a point where you can have all the monsters just stop moving completely as well. So yeah, that is a thing. When you go next to a wall and you can see, actually, can I do it here? Actually, can't do it in the boss room, it seems. But that was my other tip for you. Now, number 10, the first delve node for belts and quartz. Okay, let's go into delve here. I'm gonna show you there's 2 nodes in the Underrealm, which is the delve mechanic of Dwarven realms. You go here next to the training dummies, you unlock this past level 75, and you find the keys in Rupture level 80s or plus. The first 2 nodes are the most important. Doing the quartz will get you 1 extra quartz, and that's gonna essentially give you one extra card by itself, because going from Rupture 59 to 60, for example, is going to double the monster's HP, so you'll just get the card that much faster, right? So this one is very important. And the first node here for the belts, it's a belt rack. If you still haven't found your belt by Rupture 80-ish, go do this one and you will find your belt, most likely. You have like, you get, I don't know, like 30 belts in here. You get a crazy amount of belts. So these first delve nodes can be pretty good if you want to get either an extra card or find your belt. Underrealm as well. You can fight the bosses in the Underrealm without spending valuable keys. If you want to try your luck at Cathedral of Fire for Archeon, if you want to try Zol, or if you want to try Scorch, then this only uses 1 Underrealm key and not an actual key for the boss. And you, like, Underrealm keys are a disposable, it's a disposable item. It's not very valuable. So because you find so many of them that, yeah, it's best to go do this with your Underrealm keys for your first kill. And then when you know that you can absolutely crush Zol or crush Scorch, then you can use your real keys. So try fighting the bosses in the Underrealm first. Number 12, crafting, alternate crafting. Okay, we need to talk about this. When you are crafting items, say for example, I am crafting this one here. If I want Starblade's damage, but I would maybe also like to have Dragon Flame damage, right? So let's say that well, it's a bad example, but anyways, let's say that let's say that Dragon Flames was, for example, lightning damage, which I would absolutely want, but I want both. I want Starblades and lightning damage, right? When you are alternating between them, if you go back and forth, the crafting system, there's always a chance that you double roll the value of the roll that you're doing, right? So a normal Starblade's roll is about 19%. Dragon Flame is the same. I'm gonna try to proc it here just to show you guys. Here, 41%. So a normal Starblade's roll is 20% and a double roll is 41%. And now alternating between these will let you get a chance at double rolling. So if you have, if you have many specs, you can choose to upgrade directly and upgrade. But if you want to try your luck and you're a bit more, a bit more of a gambler, you can actually gamble for a double roll or a triple roll even. I'm going to show you how to get triple rolls. So the game naturally has a chance for you to double the values. But if you go onto the magical artifact here, your Elven Tree, you got this node, Bane of the Blacksmith, 28% chance to gain an epic craft with double the values. It's like not actually like, it's not gonna double your double roll, so you're not getting a quadruple roll, but you can get the natural double roll, plus you can get, this is equal to another extra base value roll, basically. So you get a 20% chance to gain basically a triple roll on this. Well, it's not 20% because you need, to get a triple roll, you need to proc the double and this one as well at the same time. So that is how you can get a triple roll on your items. Number 13, AFK farming is a thing. You can just double click your ability. I'm sure you know this by now. And, you know, you can just go on and about, do your things, do the laundry, you know, go walk the dog for 7 minutes or so, or do whatever you want. You come back, 7, 8, 9 minutes in, you pick up the containers, you kill the boss, and then off you go. You start another Rupture. So AFK farming is a thing in this game, and it's what most people do to farm without going crazy and always being, you know, super active. Also, there is certain pieces of gear that can have a chance to spawn another elite. So currently in season 3, this is going to be the meta. This is going to be the meta. I currently have 40% chance to spawn another elite on kill. This is pretty valuable because it gives you more time essence to open up more containers when you kill the boss and you go to the guaranteed container, you know, thingy that you can select which container that you want. So that is something to keep in mind, but early on it's not as valuable because Rupture level, so the Rupture level that you are choosing is a multiplier of the loot that is contained inside of your containers. There are containers that don't scale with this, like for example shadow chest and stuff like that, right? But for other things, everything else, the resources, the elven fragments, they do scale with Rupture level. So you need to make sure that the amount of containers that you get extra from your you know, farming gear, your magic find gear, is better than the raw multiplier that you would get by going higher in Rupture level. So that is it for AFK farming. Rupture breakpoints. So there are certain breakpoints for Ruptures to spawn containers. So that's going to be number 14. So Shadow Chest starts spawning in Rupture 30. So Shadow Chest, like 31 plus, is going to be where we want to farm them. Dwarven Runes start spawning in Rupture 36. Dwarven Rune 36. Eggs at Rupture 40. Elven Fragments at level 50. 75 for Scrolls. And this is why I recommend always farming your other stances once you can farm at least Rupture 75. Because that is going to be your best bet at finding more scrolls, and more scrolls means more Archeon or more Elven Capital runs, so that is good. And then level 80 for Delve Fragments. There's another breakpoint at Rupture 115. At Rupture 115, you are at the maximum ratio from for time essence to books turn in at the end. So if you want to min-max your XP, it's at Rupture 115 plus. And then at Rupture 200 plus, you start dropping Scorch Keys, which is the, you know, it's the final boss of Dwarven Realms and the one that drops the best weapons. So past Rupture 200, you start getting Scorch Keys. I don't know exactly when is the point where you start finding double monogram purples, you know, in Dwarven chests and stuff like that, but it's certainly past 200, maybe 250. I am not quite sure about that one. Number 15 is going to be, I recommend farming always 49s, 39s, 59s. And why is that? It's because each 10 level above, so example, when you go from 59 to 60, you are doubling the monster's HP. So 59 is going to be significantly easier than 60 for only a very small decrease in your multiplier of loot from the Rupture level. So, always recommend farming 69s, 79s, and stuff like that, even for your pushes. And then that's another reason why the quartz from the first delve node is very important. And I just noticed that I have 10 quartz to use, so I'm gonna go get some cards. But that was my tip number 15. So 15 tips. I hope you guys learned something. There is a lot of information in here, but I think that, yeah, I think some of it is going to be very useful for you guys. And I hope you have a great time in Dwarven Realm Season 3. I've been having a blast, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.